Okay, good evening from Washington DC, specifically from Capitol Hill. Wow, look at this slick back hair. I haven't gelled it, I just got out the shower and I'm bringing you on an evening walk around Capitol Hill, around Washington DC. I know so many of you have wanted to come here, but or never have been or haven't been for a very long time, so I just thought I'd show you around the neighborhood, see what's going on. There's a lot of talk at the moment of Donald Trump's big crackdown. Washington DC has been militarized. So let's see how much of that is actually true. I thought I'd start you off because it's golden hour here in DC. What time is it? Well, if it focused, it's golden hour, 7:30, sun is setting. We're outside the Library of Congress here. You can see the sunset. Very beautiful, street lights, no militarization to be seen. It is very, very quiet here on Capitol Hill. So let's take a look around. So usually I might even walk you past the Supreme Court there, but the facade is currently being renovated. So there's not really much point in showing you that, but if you are subscribed to this channel, we'll go there for the great unveiling and see what it actually looks like after it's, I think, being repaired or cleaned or something like that. So let's cross the street here and we'll go through the Capitol complex, see what's going on. Again, extremely quiet. It's August. August's usually quite quiet in DC. But this is it, you know, this was the location, very windy out here today in fact, is the location of the great January 6th riot that brought down democracy. Oh well, no, here it is, still standing, it's fine. Nobody really cares or talks about it anymore. You'll notice a lot of runners. There are a lot of runners in Washington DC. I went out on a 5-mile run today. No, that's a lie. It was a 3-mile run. It's a 5K run today. But here we are, able to walk through the US Capitol complex. I would tell you all sorts of cool facts about it, but I really don't know that many. Apart from the fact that the British shot it up and there are still some bullet casings and holes in the pillars. Know what else to tell you. Big old dome based on St. Paul's Cathedral in London. Stolen, some would say. Imitation, the sincerest form of flattery. But yeah, not a lot of military, National Guard, none of that. Just a couple of Capitol Hill cops and a couple of red ambulances. As you can see, you can pretty much walk right up to it, walk right through the grounds. And we're going to go around to the right hand side here of the building. We're currently walking towards the National Mall. And we'll head down the hill, down the Capitol Hill, because there's something specific that I want to show you that I think you might enjoy. So as you walk around the north side, what they call the Senate side of the Capitol, you see one of my favorite things to go past, especially in the evening. This is not the big reveal of the video, but that's later on. But I just thought I'd show you this, especially when the sun is setting. The view here of the Washington Monument really is quite breathtaking. You can also see a little bit of Northern Virginia in the background. And if you look right about there, that is the old post office tower, otherwise known as the old Trump Hotel. But yeah, I mean, the colors really quite phenomenal, and DC really does have that a lot of the time. Wonderful, wonderful sunsets. Might be one of the only things wonderful about this city. You might not sort of think about it, but there's sort of grounds of the capital, almost like a park that you can walk through and down to get to the National Mall. So it doesn't feel like you're on the Capitol complex right now, but you are. And it's things like this, big generator with a spotlight on it that will serve as a reminder from time to time that you're very much on Capitol grounds. And if you really forget, well, of course you could just sort of look to your left and see the Capitol building, the rotunda, and right ahead of us is the Washington Monument. We've got a little alcove down here, down some steps, still on the Capitol grounds, still very much on the Capitol grounds. It's like a little fountain, a lot of detailing in here. I think a lot of repair work has recently gone into this because this has been closed for quite some time. And it's odd, I wouldn't necessarily call this beautiful, but it certainly had a lot of attention to it, a lot of water. As I say, you are still very much on the Capitol grounds. There's the dome just peeking out there. But this has been closed for renovations for quite some time, and then you can just come back out and immediately, you're sort of back in that little park on the Capitol grounds area. That's nice little touches, a little bit of history that's been preserved fairly well. Like I said, I don't know if I would describe that as particularly picturesque, but it's something. It's more than just grass. And for those of you who haven't been here, there is a lot going on around here. There's a lot of signage and one of the things, I'll give you an example right here. So much of the plant life and things like that around here have plaques on them, tell you what they are, why they're there. This one in particular, to honour the lives, 168 lives lost, rescuers and others impacted by the April 19th, 1995 attack on the federal building in Oklahoma City, the Oklahoma City bombing. Probably most of you know about that. And they're doing some yard work here. But yeah, most trees will sort of tell you what they are, where they're from, maybe a little bit of significance to them. This tree has a little plaque on it, a little emblem. This is an eastern cottonwood found in eastern and central United States in the willow family. Willow, look at that. So I just want to sort of give you an idea. I've only been walking out here about 10 minutes, and there's just so much around that it's never going to be the case that that I would show you it all in one sitting. I'll give you an example of that. So this is a little roundabout here in the middle, and there is an entire board here dedicated to what they call Capitol Square right here. And this little board sort of give you the background of how it was expanded. In 1874, Frederick Olmsted expanded the Capitol grounds. Tells you a little bit about the boundaries and how that all changed. It refers to the place as an arboretum, I suppose, with what I was saying about the tree markings and so forth. Tells you a little bit about that little nook we went through. They call it the summer house. Offered visitors a shaded place to rest, admire views of the Capitol, and have a drink of water. And then we come to this place around here, which is the Olmsted terrace. And as I say, it's just sort of a little roundabout, but it has quite a lot of history associated with it, and that's true for just about every nook and cranny around this whole area. Sort of everything has its lore, you know. And as the sun sets over here, it begins to look particularly picturesque. The only thing really that doesn't, and that stands out like a sore thumb, are these ugly floodlights. And I don't really know why you need them. I'm sure somebody will tell me. But with all the beautiful lights you have around here, the lamp light, I don't really know why you need these floodlights. Anyway, we're going on to see what I really wanted to show you. We're not going to go out to the National Mall today. I already did that today myself. But we're going to go and show you something that just happened today, or yesterday, or last week, depending on when you're watching this, which some of you will enjoy and some of you will absolutely hate. I'm going to go see it anyway. So here we are, we've reached what I wanted to show you. I've brought you to a government department, but I brought you to the government department for a particular reason, and that is because today this huge banner went up on the side of the building, and I'm pretty sure it's the Department of Labour, by the way. I'm pretty sure it's gone up almost explicitly to trigger the left here in Washington DC. Remember, is a predominantly, I don't mean predominantly as in 55 or 60%, I'm talking about 90% liberal, left, far left, communist city, and you've got this gigantic banner of President Donald Trump, an American flag, and Teddy Roosevelt, and you just know that they absolutely loathe it. Zooming in on my chuckle there was not planned, but kind of perfect. So now we walk back up the hill. That's all I'm going to do today, but I'm going to walk me back up the hill. There she is. And this, some local law, some modern law for you here. This here is 101 Constitution Avenue. And on the roof up there, we've thrown many parties over the years, including the election night party of, it didn't turn into that much of a party, of 2020. And on that roof is where I was standing with Jack Posobiec and a couple of other friends when the first flashbangs went off during Jan 6, and they went off sort of just, 100 yards away here, and we could hear it and we could see all the kerfuffle. Of course, at the time we didn't really know all that much about what was going on, but we certainly heard the noise and found out bits and bobs later on. But that's 101 Constitution Avenue. I know One American News was in there at one point. I don't know if they still are. And then if you go sort of down that way, you get to Union Station, Fox News Building, ABC News, all of that is up there. But as I say, all for another time, so make sure you are subscribed. In the meantime, I'm going to walk back up the hill, and I don't want you to see me panting, so I'll sign off there. And by the way, did you see all of the militarized police and the National Guard? Oh no, we didn't see a single one. So be very, very cautious about what you hear on the news, frankly, from both sides, because I would actually like there to be a bit more of a police and National Guard presence out here than there even is right now. I'll take you around to Union Station maybe in a couple of days, and you can see the tents and the protesters are still there. So yeah, there's a bit of propaganda from both sides going on at the moment. I'll leave you at that.